3 hours from now on the red clay of Rome, the entire nation of the Philippines will hold its collective breath. A 20-year-old Filipina ranked 42nd in the world steps onto center court to face the reigning Australian Open champion. The reigning Wimbledon conqueror and the so-called ice queen of the tennis world, the formidable Elena Rybakina. This two-time Grand Slam champion just dismantled Maria Sakkari 6-4, 6-1. She showed the effortless brutality of a player operating on an entirely different level, and most expect her to dominate today. But if the tennis establishment thinks they already know how this story ends, they haven't been paying attention. Eala owns a stunning 4-3 record against top 10 opponents. Statement wins over stars like Madison Keys and Coco Gauff prove she fears absolutely no one on court. Now Rybakina is the next giant in her path. Stop everything you are doing. Put your phone on airplane mode and turn the volume all the way up. Lock the door and tell every fan you know to clear their afternoon because what is about to happen in Rome unfold on one of the world's most prestigious clay court stages is bigger than just a match. This is the biggest moment of Eala's young career so far. A seismic event and a defining test. Her incredible clay court rise reaches its peak just 1 week before Roland Garros at the Italian Open round of 32 on May 10, 2026. The ultimate David versus Goliath story is being tested again. Except this David has already slain 4 giants this season and arrives armed with a lethal weapon. A heavy left-handed topspin forehand capable of tearing through the best defenses on clay. What is at stake today for Eala is simply enormous. This might be the single most consequential match of the entire 2026 European clay swing for the young Filipina sensation. She walks onto center court with 16 tour-level victories across 10 different tournaments this season. That is more wins than any left-hander on the Pro Tour in 2026. This is no longer just a junior story. This is the breakthrough clay court campaign she has been building toward since joining the Rafa Nadal Academy in 2018. In her opening round, she baggled Magdalena Freck. She survived the veteran's counterattack to take the decider 6-4. By winning 68% of her second serve points, she silenced every doubt created by tough stretches in Stuttgart and Madrid. Then came an even more terrifying performance. She avenged her Auckland heartbreak with a ruthless 6-4, 6-3 win over Wang Xinyu after recovering from an early deficit in the opening set. She broke a world-class serve 7 times, committed 0 double faults, and became the first Filipina in the Open era to reach the Italian Open third round. The momentum is real and her form is peaking. The confidence radiating from Eala right now is becoming genuinely frightening for the rest of the tour. But now comes the ultimate obstacle. Elena Rybakina, the Kazakh thunderstorm herself. A biomechanical masterpiece engineered for pure baseline destruction from the back of the court. Elena Rybakina stands 6 feet tall, is 26 years old, and is firmly entrenched at world number 2. She is the reigning Australian Open champion after defeating Aryna Sabalenka in the final earlier this year, and a former Tour Finals winner. Her serve, often clocked above 120 miles per hour, is surgically precise. She turns service games into near-instant executions. Her power is unmatched, turning routine service games into clinical and immediate executions right from the start. Statistically, she arrives with an intimidating record. 24 wins in her last 26 matches after winning the first set, along with 12 consecutive opening round victories at the highest level. These numbers suggest she doesn't just beat her opponents on this stage, she dominates them with cold efficiency. She wins with machine-like consistency, but this matchup shifts dramatically when the battle moves to the slow clay. Rybakina plays first-strike tennis, a massive serve, a crushing flat forehand, and an emphasis on short, explosive points to end rallies early. On fast surfaces like grass, that style is devastating. Her ground strokes cut through the air like lasers, ending rallies before they can even develop. Clay, however, changes everything. It slows the ball down and extends the rallies significantly for both players. The dirt strips away her serve advantage, forcing long, grueling exchanges that test patience and power. That is where the story gets interesting, because those long, grinding exchanges are exactly where Eala thrives. She was shaped by years of development within one of the most elite clay court environments in tennis. This surface doesn't reward Rybakina's first strike blueprint. Instead, it magnifies every single crack in a player's rhythm, timing, and endurance. Rybakina has acknowledged these conditions, recognizing that clay demands a different strategy entirely. It doesn't always align with her natural instincts, creating a rare window of vulnerability. Elena Rybakina's clay record in Rome has been relatively modest, and her opening performance against Maria Sakkari was not perfect. That 6-4, 6-1 win was less of a clay court masterclass and more about a power player capitalizing on an opponent whose serve collapsed under pressure. The blueprint Rybakina used against Sakkari won't work against Eala. This is where the match transforms into a pure tactical collision. Flat power versus heavy topspin. When Eala unleashes her Nadal-influenced forehand, the ball won't sit comfortably at her opponent's waist height. Instead, it will kick violently toward the shoulders, disrupting Rybakina's contact point and forcing her into defensive, uncomfortable positions she hates to be in. That makes this match dangerous for the world number 2. Eala's record against top 10 players is the most underappreciated stat in women's tennis today. 4 wins and 3 losses. That is a 57% win rate across a telling sample size. Every victory follows a pattern of composure and tactical brilliance against elite stars. Look back at the 2025 Miami Open. While ranked outside the top 120, she crushed former world number 5 Madison Keys, 6-4, 6-2. She also produced a statement win over former world number 1 Iga Swiatek. That match proved she can absorb pace and redirect power with ease. She can outlast elite opponents in long rallies. The pattern holds 2 top 5 wins in 1 week. At the 2026 Dubai Championships, Alexandra Eala crushed world number 8 Jasmine Paolini. She took the first set 6-1, eventually sealing a dominant 2-set victory built on total control and variety. Next, at Indian Wells, she stared down world number 4 Coco Gauff on Stadium Court. Eala was up 6-2-0 when Gauff had to retire. 4 top 10 wins. 3 surfaces, rivals with totally different styles. Alexandra Eala is proving she is the real deal. It is more than form, it is tactical genius under fire. She has toppled a baseliner, a big hitter, a counterpuncher, and a power player. Each match was a puzzle she solved, proving she has a toolbox for every occasion. This versatility is why her run at the Italian Open is so massive. She is not just surviving the dirt. She is perfecting her game on the one surface everyone thought would break her. In Rome, the tactical chess match is clear. Rybakina's main weapon is that serve, a high-speed missile system designed to end points early. But on clay, that weapon loses its edge. The slow surface grips the ball, killing the skid and neutralizing that explosive speed. Even a 10% drop in serve power is a game-changer at this elite level. It gives Eala an extra second to read the ball, adjust her feet, and crucially, get a clean racket on those massive first serves. Once the ball is in play, everything shifts. Rybakina wants to end things fast with flat, hard strikes. But the red clay breaks her rhythm. The surface creates higher bounces and more spin. These are the exact conditions where Eala's heavy topspin forehand thrives. Every cross-court drive she hits kicks up violently, making life miserable for her opponent. It forces Rybakina to strike the ball way above her comfort zone, while being pushed further behind the baseline. That is the core of this battle. Rybakina wants raw speed, while Eala is forcing height, spin, and physical struggle. Over time, that contrast does more than win points. It drains the clock, kills the timing, and ruins focus under pressure. In Rome, those tiny margins are everything. Rybakina's love for quick points is a huge weakness against a grinder like Alexandra Eala, who is literally built to drag you into deep, punishing rallies and force mistakes from power hitters on this surface. The longer the exchange lasts, the more the odds tilt toward Eala, especially against a player who lives and dies by the first strike. Then there is the second serve. Elena Rybakina might have a world-class first delivery, but her second serve on clay is shaky, with win rates barely hitting 50%. This is Eala's opening. Her return game has been incredible lately, winning nearly 37% of her receiving games. That is an elite stat fueled by great anticipation and aggression. She reads the toss, steps in, and attacks the return right off the bounce. She turns second serves into instant threats. If Eala breaks serve just a couple of times, the whole momentum of this match flips. What starts as a power showcase can quickly turn into a grueling tactical war where rhythm dies and every single service game becomes a test of will. On red clay, these chess matches favor the player with the deeper roots on dirt, the one who loves building a point instead of rushing it. Then there is the mental game, which might be the deciding factor. Alexandra Eala enters this match with absolutely zero pressure on her shoulders. She is playing with house money. In the tennis world, expectations for her are low. Most fans and analysts are picking Rybakina for an easy win. The outside noise is overwhelmingly leaning toward a routine victory. That lack of pressure lets her swing freely and play fearless tennis. It is the same mindset that helped her shock several top 10 players already this year. Rybakina, however, is carrying a heavy load. As the favorite and the star, she is expected to control this match from the very first point. That pressure does not guarantee a collapse, but it definitely changes the mental stakes. Every double fault or lost rally starts to feel much bigger than it actually is. And on clay, where points are long and control is hard to keep, those mental cracks can widen fast. The psychology of the game becomes just as important as a big serve or a winner. Her federation expects total dominance. A loss to an unseeded player ranked 40 spots lower would be a massive blow for her reputation. Losing here would trigger tough questions about her clay court skills right before the French Open. The pressure to prove she belongs at the top is immense. It is a huge mental divide. Rybakina is carrying the weight of an entire nation and her own high ranking. Anything less than a blowout looks like a failure, especially given her status as a Grand Slam champion and a top-tier star. Every break point she faces is under a microscope. But for Alexandra Eala, the vibe is totally different. She is playing with pure freedom. During this run in Rome, her fan support has turned into a massive force. Filipino fans are showing up in huge numbers, waving flags and screaming in Tagalog, their voices echoing through the stadium and right onto the television broadcast. Forget the corporate vibes. This is raw, grassroots energy built on identity and deep sacrifice. It is a lifetime of emotional investment in a rare underdog story, creating a massive pressure imbalance. During long, grueling rallies over 10 or 15 shots, the intensity in the stadium becomes almost suffocating. Their bodies will be tested, but the crowd's roar belongs to Eala, fueling her with pure emotion. That momentum carries her when fatigue hits and instinct takes over. Rybakina, on the other hand, has never faced this specific crowd dynamic on a slow clay court. That lack of familiarity matters, because momentum in tennis is never just technical. It is mental, rhythmic, and purely environmental. The stakes beyond this match are massive. A victory for Eala would send her into the round of 16 at a WTA 1000 clay event for the first time, a historic milestone for any Filipino player at this elite level. These ranking points would launch her to a new career high and significantly boost her seeding for the Roland Garros qualifiers and upcoming draw dynamics. A loss, however, would still leave her trajectory intact, but it would close off a rare chance to turn this breakthrough clay swing into a massive ranking jump before the season's second Grand Slam. No matter what happens, this showdown in Rome is no longer just another match in isolation. It is a high-stakes test of form, expectation, surface skill, and pure belief. Everything converges on center court under the Roman sky. Alexandra Eala already has 3 wins at a WTA 1000 clay event. She has avenged her Auckland loss and gained enough momentum to reshape her entire season. There is no losing for her long-term growth, but in the world of elite sports, the journey matters, but the message sent matters more. Today in Rome, that message is the only focus. This is where Eala proves she is not just a hardcourt specialist who got lucky on clay. She shows that her success in Madrid was not a fluke, but a sign of a more complete and resilient game. She proves that the methodology absorbed over 8 years at the Rafa Nadal Academy translates directly onto the biggest stages against the most decorated power servers on the tour. Progress matters. The signal matters. perception in the locker room matters even more. At 3 o'clock at the Foro Italico in Rome, Italy, the round of 32 begins. A 20-year-old left-handed Filipina takes on the reigning Australian Open champion, an opponent capable of firing missile-like serves and dictating points in bursts of pure power. This is their first ever meeting. For Eala, it is the biggest match of her career so far, an opportunity to redefine her ceiling on European red clay. What happens here is more than a match. It is a statement about exactly where she belongs next. Mobilization is underway. We need to get this message out to everyone, everywhere right now. Send this to every Filipino you know. Flood the Italian Open social media pages with energy. Focus on the tactical awareness, especially how